Welcome to Valanior, a fresh take on the Wrath of the Lich King experience. Prepare to discover familiar classes evolved in exciting new ways, offering unique abilities and playstyles unlike anything you've seen before in this era. Get ready to explore a world where classic foundations meet innovative design. Let's dive in. In Valanior, the Wrath of the Lich King styled classes have been reworked to match the vibes of their retail counterparts. This means that almost every spell and talent has been reworked from zero. Here's an example. For Hunter, you have spells such as Aspect of the Beast and Exhilaration. You can also gain access to talents like a Murder of Crows or Stampede. None of those are in-game in the default patch. Note, however, how the superior talent point system from Wrath is still there. This means we have the best of both worlds. Also, hit rating got replaced with Mastery and Versatility rating. Similarly to retail, Mastery gives bonus effect based on your spec, while Versatility increases damage done and reduces damage taken. In Valanior, every class has an additional specialization which has been coded from ground up. For example, the Hunter's fourth spec is Dark Ranger. It was inspired by the playstyle fantasy of Sylvanas. It's a ranged DPS with mixed attack power and spell power scalings. It's very stealthy and cannot tame a pet. It also comes with a lot of built-in mobility. Check this out. Shadow Movement, a long dash that costs focus but doesn't have a cooldown. With the proper rune set, you can reach mount travel speed while walking on foot, outdoor and indoor. Pretty cool, huh? Here's a list of all the fourth specs. Guardian Druid, Inquisitor Paladin, a ranged DPS, Demon-Bound Warlock, a tanking spec similar to retail's Demon Hunter, Spellblade Mage, a melee DPS spec, Outlaw Rogue, a pirate-style DPS spec you might have seen on retail, Spirit Master Shaman, a tanking spec focused on switching elemental forms, inspired by Udyr from League of Legends, Soulweaver Death Knight, a support spec which heals allies while doing damage, Absolution Priest, a support spec which does holy DPS, and finally, Hoplite Warrior, a DPS spec which uses one-hand weapons and shields. While leveling up on Valanior, you'll get prompted to choose between 3 rune options. Runes are basically passive abilities. Upon collecting, the runes will show up in your rune interface, and you can equip or unequip them with a click. Each rune has 3 different rarities, and you can access their tooltips with the Shift key. Upon logging in, you should right-click your portrait and select a rune and loot specialization, as that will make more likely for you to get useful options. You can wear up to 16 runes, 2 of which have to come from the utility category. Runes are obtained mainly by leveling up. After you reach level cap, your XP bar will turn red, and the progress will go on endlessly. That's what we call Paragon leveling. Once you're 60, you'll want to create a customized rune set that satisfies your class fantasy. You may want a set for soloing, a set for group content, a speed set to farm, and so on. You can create several rune loadouts and save them to easily switch back and forth at a later time. But how can you force the hand of fate and quickly grab your desired rune as soon as possible? There's 3 items that are designed just for that. Ability Banish and Ability Reroll work during your rune selection pop-up. Banish will remove a rune from your pool until you unbanish it manually from the rune UI. Reroll will basically redo the selection for all 3 options. Lastly, we have Lesser Scroll of Rune Learning, which is very cheap and grants a rune pop-up straight on use. You'll only find green quality runes this way, which means it will only pick from the pool of runes you yet do not have. Those items can be bought for currency or obtained through daily quests. Let's talk about dungeons. Dungeons scale in difficulty with the amount of players inside, and you can queue up for random dungeon finder even in solo. In your capital city, you will find 3 NPCs which will help you during your dungeon runs. They are very strong, especially at early levels. Your decision between tank, healer, and DPS companion should be based on what your own character is lacking. Dungeons have 4 difficulties: Normal, Heroic, Mythic, and Mythic Plus. You'll want to do normal dungeons while leveling or farming materials. Heroic dungeons drop BOE gear, so they're perfect to mail stuff to alts. Mythic dungeons will be the main source of your gear, since target farming bosses for a specific item is very easy. Mythic Plus dungeons will keep scaling indefinitely with levels. Similar to retail, they are timed dungeon runs that require both bosses and trash mobs to be killed. Finishing them grants gear, currency, and a huge burst of experience. Note that in Valanior, dungeons have no hour lockout. You can go in and out how many times you want. Please note how Valanior is in the process of reworking the mechanics of all dungeons to make them on par with retail standards. You may find some dungeons are way harder than others because they've already been through that process. Raids have 3 difficulties: normal, heroic, and mythic. Those aren't soloable, but will scale based on how many people are in raid. Normals are very easy and drop the same items of mythic at lower item level. However, mythics are the only place where legendaries drop. On that note, let's talk about items. While leveling, you'll come across gear marked as upgradable. The upgrade will scale them to mythic. Then, mythic items can also be upgraded further and further, with each major patch increasing the upgrade limit. This is the magic of Valanior, an horizontal style progression where every bit of content stays relevant and any magical item found while leveling can be pushed to BIS values. Upgrading gear is very intuitive. You find item upgraders while doing mythics with a rarity depending on the level. Mythic 2 to 19 drops uncommon upgraders. Mythic 20 to 39 drops rare upgraders. Mythic 40 to 54 drops epic upgraders. Mythic 55 onwards drops legendary upgraders. Please note that while Mythic Plus levels are uncapped for hardcore gaming purposes, the gameplay benefits stop at 55. In Valanior, getting a character to max level grants a stack of XP buff, which is shared among all your toons, up to a maximum of 200% at 10 stacks. Do note that deleting a toon makes you lose a stack. Mounts are also shared among toons, and once added to your collection from your main, you can jump on them on your alts straight from level 1. Similarly, flight points and reputations are also shared. Most professions have been updated to include recipes that you'll need in endgame, and you gain XP while increasing their skill, so picking a profession while leveling won't slow down your progression. Lastly, the server is entirely cross-faction. You can mail and group through all kinds of content with members of the opposite faction. In Valanior, all items you wear get added to your transmog collection, similarly to retail. Transmog has no rules, meaning you can go full plate on your awesome shield-wearing Spellblade mage. There's several leveling challenges that can be accessed at level 1 while talking to Chromie in your starting zone. Also, note that you can reset your level back to 1 at any time while keeping your runes and having your gear mailed back at you for later. We call this prestige leveling. Completing challenges or prestige will grant unique rewards, such as items and mounts backported from later expansions. This concludes our feature overview. Before we part ways, let me give you some additional hints at the theory crafting behind Project Valanior. Runes aren't tier listable. They're meant to customize your gameplay and rotation beyond what the game allows by default. Similarly, the raid tier sets are also meant to complement different gameplay styles and won't overshadow each other. This is part of the horizontal progression concept. New runes and tier sets will be added continuously as the game updates, and the community will be asked for ideas about those. What's crazier are the Mythic Plus events, a race for the highest level of a specific dungeon. Winners usually get exclusive mounts, transmogs, and the ability to decide what rune will be developed next on their class. This means in Valanior, your knowledge and skill can bring concrete gameplay changes. Pretty cool, huh? Thank you for watching, and see you in-game.